Okay, ended up fall camp with our last practice just a little bit ago. Really, it was more situational. We wanted to cover every possible situation as far as special teams goes, and then really offense, defense, end of game scenarios. And this fall camp emphasis has been on the last 2 minutes of the game with all the different scenarios, with the thinking that there could be some close ones that we got to be prepared for, especially with all the road games that we have as far as that goes. Yesterday we had our last scrimmage in the stadium in front of our donors. Really, it was focused really more on our twos and our threes, and really a handful of guys that we were given a great look to see if they can help us, for the first game, to give us some depth and really give some guys chances to make plays. Cord Sandberg got the majority of the scrimmage reps. That was by design. The two other quarterbacks have got the majority of the rest of scrimmage. We just felt real strong that he needed to get some experience, and it was really good, for him as far as that goes. And so into fall camp, I think overall I feel very good about our team standpoint of understanding the standard that we're looking for. We've strained our guys. It's definitely been a hot fall camp. Our guys have pushed through. I think our leadership confirmed what we thought they would be, and so I think we're in a good spot. We got the first day of school tomorrow, so we'll start getting in our game week routine this week, and really it's flipping the page to full throttle on Oregon, and a very good team, and it'll be a good measure and stick of where we're at. But I know our guys are excited that we'll start preparing, for another opponent, and but overall feel very good about where we're at after fall camp. Questions?
How close do you feel like you are to naming QB1?
I think we're closer in that position. I can't tell you right now what day, but we're going to go back now that fall camp's over, and really all positions, and just evaluate each position. Take a good 24 hours to see everything, to go back, because a lot of times from a coach's standpoint, you remember the last practice in great detail, but the things before. So it gives us a good chance to really put the pieces to the puzzle, not just quarterback, but even some other positions as far as depth's concerned. So that's what we'll be doing probably the next 24 to 48 hours, as we're game planning for Oregon. Of course, obviously, we've been looking at Oregon all summer, so we feel like, with what they've done in the past, you think you've got a decent idea of what you're going to get. But the next 24 hours or 48 will be really more probably focused on us as far as putting the pieces of the puzzle.
Gus, they have a new defensive coordinator. Does that require some more time? I guess it came from Boise to go back and look also.
Yeah, I mean, the first games were really unique from the standpoint, even if they got the same coordinators, that there may be some tweaks in the offseason and all that. And the first game's always about adjustments, but, from anytime you're playing someone, you try to do your homework on them. And, what's their philosophy? How do they think? Situational things. How are they going to react? And, because most coaches are creatures of habit, and we'll go back to what they really believe in. So you just do your homework, whether they were there last year or not. And do your homework the best you can, and do the best you can to predict what they're going to do. But there's nothing like a first game. I mean, first games are more about adjustments than any other game. It's always been that way, and I expect this one may be the same.
Is it possible you do not reveal your starting quarterback until the game comes?
I don't. I'd rather not do that, but I'm not going to sit here today and say anything more than we're going to go back and if we can. Like I said all along, if we can figure out who gives us the best chance of beating Oregon, when we get to that point, we'll name the starter. So I'm not ready to say exactly right now, or really any scenario at this point.
Just now that you're through with camp, big picture, what are some areas where you guys improved as a team, and some areas where you want to get better before you play Oregon?
Yeah, probably more than anything, our ones confirmed kind of more what we thought that we had as a team, and I think that's a good sign. It's really more about the twos, developing depth, and of course I'll give the wide receivers an example. We had some guys a little banged up, which everybody practiced today but Swartz, and it really gives you a chance to develop depth, and there's nothing like that. I mean, this league, you're going to get guys banged up, you're going to have to rely on your twos, sometimes your threes. So really, it's been a real good focus about getting our ones better, and I think they have. But really, the twos and the depth And of course, we've been a special concentration on our quarterbacks too. Like I told you before, there's a lot of different situations that we tried to put our quarterbacks in to be able to better evaluate who gives us the best chance of winning that first game.
How have the receivers done the last couple of days?
I would say we improved. There was a time they had a tough day or two, but like I said, if you have a tough day or two, you got to respond, and that's what we challenged to do. And I think you've seen that group grow. Some of the guys that need to grow, I think, did. But the only way you do that is through getting chances. And when you get a chance, when you're with the ones, that's when you find out everything from a coach's standpoint, the other player's standpoint, and yourself. And so there's a lot of guys, receivers, that got chances the last 2 weeks to get in there with the ones, show what they can do.
Has Seth been able to go a little bit more the last couple of days?
Yeah, he's practiced full speed the last 2 or 3.
What have you seen out of him? Obviously, held him back some, but what have you seen out of him in terms of maturity from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's more mature, there's no doubt. I mean, we're still needing to kind of go that next step, not just with him, but there's a handful of guys who just need to take that next step. And he's very, very talented. I think everybody knows that. But we're just challenging those young guys, even if they played last year. I mean, come on now, take that next step, and we're staying on him, and he's one of them. And I think he's responded. He's responded well. And like I said earlier, I think the big thing from fall camp is everybody knows the standard right now, and our leaders are the ones that really are setting the tone for holding that standard together.
You mentioned 2s and 3s got a lot of work. Seeing who could help. Have you identified somebody through camp that has moved up that you feel like you can help you?
I think there's probably 5 or 6 on both sides of the football that we think can help. I'm always thinking special teams too, because you got to have your guys that are traveling defensively and offensively, and you put together your special teams. And I think there's been 5 or 6 that have done that too. Yesterday, with our ones, we had the SEC officials, and we did a lot of, I think, 4 different 2-minute scenarios. We did a 3rd down emphasis. We did a sudden change. It was a 2-point play emphasis. So we're kind of getting to the point where, we've covered just about everything, where we have covered everything, that scenario that you see, that you could possibly see, in a game.
Special teams, how have they come along?
Good. We got the majority of our guys coming back. Punt returners, got those 3 guys, and that was another emphasis yesterday, in the stadium, as far as catching kicks, sky kicks, putting them on the 10-yard line, making decisions and all that. But as far as the overall special teams, we got a very veteran group. And last year, that was one of our strengths. It was I think we finished 2nd in the SEC overall, which was the best unit we had. So we're expecting a lot, from that group again. And so far, so good. I just kind of confirmed the guys that did last year. I think they've improved their technique and fundamentals.
Has Papo done enough and showed enough to make you think he's going to be in the rotation and a major defensive contributor this year?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say that he'll be a major contributor.
What impresses you most about him?
It's everything. I mean, he's mature. He's got a nose for the ball. He can run. The moment doesn't seem too big for him. You're out there, behind everything from an offensive standpoint. And he's got a nose for the ball and plays physical, and and he's in a good spot going this season.
How valuable is a guy like Cephas, and what have you seen him get better at?
Yeah, I think he's more consistent than he was last year, and he was pretty consistent last year. So I think he's set up. He was a huge weapon for us. He understands the game and the situations better. He's worked extremely hard on his sky kicking, which we weren't the best at that last year, and that's really been the thing that stood out to me. Like he's really done a super job of pinning that thing down inside the 10 numerous times in fall camp.
When you look at punt return, we've seen those 3 guys rotating a lot. Is that a decision where you're going to have to sit down and figure it out?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the quarterback. Like now that we got everything, from a coach's standpoint, we can go back and watch every one of the reps, either in a scrimmage situation or a thud bump situation. And really, from my standpoint, the first game, who's going to catch the ball? Who's going to protect the ball? I mean, that's really the number one thing early in the season for me.
Do you expect to receive any consideration for acting awards for your skill there with your receiver team?
No, I don't think I'll be asked to do a whole lot of acting, probably.
Gus, you announce your quarterback that way?
No. No, we tried that a few years ago, QB1 or whatever that deal was.
Who are 5 or 6 of those guys on offense, young guys that you think can help?
What was that called? Was that QB1 or?
ESPN thing? You're the quarterback.
You're the quarterback. Yeah, we're not.
You acting?
No.
You were just being Gus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
5 or 6 young guys on offense you think can help you? Have you talked about that earlier? Who are they?
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I tell you what I'll do. Our next presser, I'll let you know. Okay.
Anything else?
I want to watch some more film just to confirm before I put myself out there. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Coach.